Hey there, comic fans. It's your old pal Comic Solution here, coming at you once again. And today, I am going to be reviewing the Wonder Woman movie, which is I just got back from seeing. If you saw my previous out and about vlogs, which I will be uploading before this video, then you know that's what I was doing. And if you were wondering whether or not to see this movie, I will say that yeah, it is a good movie. You should see it at some point. I do understand the hesitation with the whole DC comic book cinematic universe. I really do. I do understand your frustration. Ever since The Dark Knight, I've been wanting to get this cinematic universe right, and I will tell you that although Wonder Woman does not quite by any stretch of the imagination get to that point of genius, it does go a long way. For me personally, as a comic book fan, I know I haven't told you the origin of the Comic Solution name yet, but I will say that comic books are something I have been interested in for the majority of my life, even as a kid, as a child, and even today as an adult, as a lover of literature and reading. That is always something that I am interested in, and when they create these great cinematic universes that are based on the comic books, I always hope that they connect the greatness of those stories. Sometimes they do, sometimes they really don't get it right. And if you're like me and you've been following Zack Snyder, Batman vs. Superman, I really didn't care about it that much. It was okay. It had its moments, don't get me wrong, it did have its moments, but it had way too much going on, and it just had a lot to keep up with. Too many villains, too many heroes, too many whatever. And Wonder Woman made her debut, and that was exciting. I'm talking about Batman vs. Superman. I guess I should have a preliminary. Well, if you didn't see Batman vs. Superman by now, I'm not going to feel too bad for you, but especially if you're interested in Wonder Woman, you should have been keeping up. But that's something that you'll have to do on your own time, because I'm not getting into it here. But I will say, this was a step up from those movies. Batman vs. Superman was not the greatest movie. The last Superman movie by Zack Snyder was not a very good movie. I kind of like Suicide Squad. On Letterboxd, I think I gave it a 3.5, which is decent. That's actually being a little bit generous. I think that movie could have improved a lot. But this movie was pretty good. I think I would rate it a little bit above Suicide Squad. Probably about a 3.75 out of 5, or somewhere along those lines. This movie did have an excellent writing background. The story was good. The universe was good. The agenda wasn't there. If you're worried about this ultra-feminism and things like that, that really wasn't too much of an issue. And the overall movie was pretty good. The cinematics were great. The CGI looked spectacular. The acting was pretty good. Both by the lead role, Wonder Woman, and Steve Trevor, with the lead supporting character. And it felt pretty genuine. It didn't feel forced. It felt like a great film, a movie, like they always should. You know, as always, people always go back to the whole DC versus Marvel cinematic universe, and if you have been living anywhere than under a rock, you know that Marvel has been dominating the crap out of that battle, and Marvel has really been going well, and of course I, like most people, prefer the Marvel Universe. Now, I don't necessarily think that way 100% of the time, but Marvel movies are just always great movies. You know how partial I am to Guardians of the Galaxy. If you were with me for my last film review, there's that. Guardians of the Galaxy was extremely great. Avengers 1 and 2, Civil War, they have really been just dominating the film industry. Ant-Man, all of these movies are great. Marvel, though, the tide rises, the tide falls. It's okay. Sometimes they're enjoyable. Batman vs Superman was all right, but it ain't it ain't Marvel. It ain't Spider-Man 1, and it damn sure ain't The Dark Knight. And that's the time. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Well, anyways, let's get into it. If you're wondering whether you should see this movie, yes, you should at some point. You don't have to rush out and see it, but it is pretty good. You probably should see it. It's a good story, as I said, and I am going to get more into the Wonder Woman story now. So if you haven't seen the movie, check out another film or another video, I guess I should say, on YouTube. Maybe go to my Summer of Psycho series or watch something else. I'm sure there's lots of hilarious pranks or videos out there that you can watch. So now I'm going to move the Wonder Woman symbol from here. Put it over there. See those symbols on this side of my head? You know that the spoilers are a coming. If you haven't seen the movie, do not watch the video unless you just want to get it spoiled. Alright, spoilers. Wonder Woman turns evil and destroys the Earth. I don't understand why she tries to do it, but I'm glad that she succeeds in doing so. The Joker makes an appearance, and Wonder Woman dies. How are they going to do Justice League? Wonder Woman's dead. No, I'm just kidding. All that's bullshit. None of that is actually true. Wonder Woman does not die. Okay, let's get into what really happens. Wonder Woman is an Amazonian girl, Diana. She has her mother there. She's born in some inexplicable way that Zeus conceived her, almost like the Immaculate Conception. Something I have kind of a little bit of a problem with, because what? Why? I don't know. If that's in the comic book, then I guess I'll give it a pass. But I don't really understand that part. But so there's that. Wonder Woman is part of this Amazonian society. This guy named Steve Trevor comes through, and she puts the lasso of truth on him. He reveals himself to be a spy, which is a surprise, obviously. The spoiler starts right there. They figure out what he was up to. He was a soldier in the war to end all wars, World War I. And the Amazonian princess Diana has to go and try to save mankind. That's why she leaves her world of the Amazon, to be the savior for these men. That is not intended to be any kind of agenda, I don't think. I felt, fairly decent about it. At the same time, if you are overly concerned that, Wonder Woman should be a feminist agenda movie, maybe you will be offended, because there's really not much there as far as that goes. In fact, I'd say it's more the opposite. I believe Wonder Woman at one point says that women were put there so that men and women could understand each other equally, or something like that. So yeah, I felt pretty good about that. But she is a savior. She does fight and do things that men cannot do, which I have no problem with. She's Wonder Woman. How about that trench warfare scene, the no man's land? Pretty freaking cool, man. Wonder Woman comes out of the trenches. She's coming out. She's fighting. They're shooting at her, and she's blocking these bullets, which she does previous to that as well. But she goes into a zone, no man's land, which is figurative, because she's a woman. And everyone says that, Wonder Woman, you're going to die. Wonder Woman, don't go to no man's land. It's just not going to work out. You're just going to get shot. I know you're a superhero and whatnot. I know you're a goddess, or a princess at least. But you are not going to make it. Well, she does. She does make it. She makes it to the enemy territory, which is the German soldiers, which the men, although they were trying their hardest, were not able to do much of anything against, because they were stuck in the trenches, because German machine guns were covering every square inch of that no man's land turf. Wonder Woman, however, is able to get through that, which I thought that was I don't know, man, maybe it was just me, but me watching in the movie theater with all those people, I thought that this was just poetic justice. This is a very, very, very good way of showing what Wonder Woman is, how great Wonder Woman is, what she is, or who she is. That she's the hero that men, they can't do what she can do, and it just represented it very well. After that, one little nitpicky thing is Wonder Woman said that London was ugly. Really? Come on. London's amazing. Have you ever been to London? Come on. Alright. I'm just going to leave that there. Wonder Woman, don't talk about London. Okay? Go back to the Amazon. Thank you for saving us during World War I. Don't shit on London. Leave me that at least. London's amazing. I've been there a couple times. Really cool. Anyways. So Wonder Woman saves the day. She ends the World War I by killing who she believes was Ares, the god of war. And it turns out that who she thought was Ares is not actually Ares. Ares is actually somebody else. Well, then that leaves us to wonder, who the hell is Ares? And why are people still fighting? Steve Trevor, he tries to explain to Wonder Woman, man, maybe it's not Ares. Maybe people are just evil. Maybe they just want to kill each other. Maybe that's their nature. Well, it's not quite the case. Wonder Woman kills the guy who she believes is actually Ares. The war is going on still, and then Ares reveals himself to be somebody who's on the side of the British troops, surprisingly. And from there we find out that he is still Ares, still has his powers, even though he explained that he lost some of his powers, some of his abilities. So Wonder Woman and Ares have a epic battle. Wonder Woman, of course, wins, but then Steve Trevor, and this is where this movie gets a little bit sad. Steve Trevor tells her he loves her, flies off into the sky, passes away. And that just was a little bit sad to me. Why did that have to happen to Steve Trevor? I could have seen it ending in some other ways. I don't know. But that whole angst, I would say, of Wonder Woman being a goddess, being in a man's world, loving this man, not really being able to tell him or express it fully, even though he tells her that he loves her. Isn't that what a man relates to most? Not being able to say those words, being in that situation, that feeling of isolation, even though Wonder Woman is a goddess and she's all powerful and whatnot, maybe not completely, but for the most part, she's shown it in a struggle, which is what separates, in many cases, my personal opinion, separates Marvel and DC. DC comic books, for the most part, are very, very almost untried, impenetrable. Superman, he has a small weakness of kryptonite. Other than that, he's a chiseled, great-looking guy who can do just about anything. Batman's a little bit of a different story, but Marvel, those guys are in a struggle. Peter Parker, man, he's got to wake up and just barely make it to college and then go beat up the Green Goblin and the Sandman and then go take care of his Aunt May and can't tell him. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. But here we see even Wonder Woman, a female heroine, who's in many ways very, very powerful, even struggle a little bit. And that was a very interesting take. I enjoyed how they did that. I enjoyed it very much. I love the cinematography. Beautiful movie, great acting, good story. And finally, one last spoiler. By the way, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know why you're still watching, but there's no real major spoilers, so feel free to, well, I guess at this point it doesn't really matter, but this will be the last spoiler. Bruce Wayne is not in the movie per se. He doesn't make an appearance, but Batman's obviously not in the movie. Well, he's not in the movie. But Bruce Wayne does write, or no, Wonder Woman does write Bruce Wayne an email regarding, I believe, Steve Trevor, although it's left ambiguous, saying thank you for sending him to me. So Bruce Wayne has some involvement in this plot line, although he's not actually in the film itself. That might be kind of a segue into Justice League, which, by the way, kind of glad that Zack Snyder didn't direct Wonder Woman, because he hasn't really been doing too well lately. But I am looking forward to Justice League. This movie gives me a little bit of hope, not a whole lot, but a little bit, that Justice League will be good. I am kind of excited to see it. God, I just hope it's not bad. You really let me down with Suicide Squad, DC. That Joker better be good. Because Heath Ledger's Joker... Alright. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. So, thanks for watching. I love you guys to death. Don't forget to subscribe. This side, right side. Subscribe for more content. Twitter, Instagram, links are in the description. I love you guys to death. And keep it Duffy, comics.